Atlanta, which was often, since my mother was also a Spelman graduate, and my father was a third-generation Morehouse man. My parents loved visiting what they called the New Chocolate City and staying at the Ritz-Carlton in Buckhead. That gave them easy access to one of their favorite shopping spots, Phipps Plaza, right across the street. But though I did get to see my parents often, I only saw my brothers at Christmas, which we spent either in Raleigh, Boston, or New York City, which is where each of my brothers lived. Besides my family, though, I saw no one else. I had stayed away from D.C. all because of him. Everything I'd sacrificed, I'd done with him in mind. I wasn't sad about it, though. He had kept me focused. The entire time I was in college, I had just one plan: to get good grades and get in great shape. So when my roommates tried to get me to go club hopping or to take trips to neighboring colleges for some good old-fashioned fun, I'd always turn them down. Instead, I spent my time grooming my mind, body, and soul. I studied constantly, and when I wasn't studying, I worked out. I plumped up my ass by doing 100 squats a day, and then I jogged 2 miles around campus, twice a day. Doing that just about every day for 4 years had turned me from a girl into a lean, mean, toned woman. Then, with the money my parents sent as a weekly allowance, I took to the neighboring town and patronized the best hair salon, purchasing top-of-the-line conditioners and relaxers that had added nearly 14 inches to my cinnamon-colored tresses. From there, I'd spent hours at the day spa getting silk-wrapped manicures, coconut oil pedicures, and full-body hot rock muscle massages that became second nature to me. I had regular herbal facials, and of course, there was the honey waxing of my arms, legs, and yes, even my kitty. It had all paid off. I looked incredible, and it was all for Pastor Malik Stroman, the most handsome, smartest, put-together man that I'd ever met. He'd changed my life all those years ago. It was a revelation that had come to me in a single moment 6 years before. I was only 16 then, when the mothers of the church were preparing 9 of us girls in the ladies' lounge for our special ceremony. The women made sure our dresses were pressed, that our shoes glistened, and that every strand of our hair was in place. While the women prepared the other girls, I stood off to the side. I wouldn't dare let one of them touch me. There was no need. My mother had already made sure that I was perfect. But I also stood away from the others because I didn't fit in. I had never fit in with the girls I went to school with or sat with in Sunday school. Not that I wanted to. I couldn't relate to their J.C. Penney dresses, rack room shoes, and chit-chatter about the teenage boys in our church. I had nothing in common with any of them. That wasn't my fault. My parents were the ones who'd set me apart from the very beginning. I'd been wearing designer clothes since I could read labels. I'd had weekly visits to the hair salon since I was 5, and just a few weeks before my 16th birthday, my mother and father had given me my first brand new car. So there was just no way for me to relate to those girls or for those girls to relate to me. "Okay, come on now." Miss Pearl clapped her hands 3 times as she motioned for us to gather together in a small circle. "Let's pray." Even though they had placed small pillows on the floor so that we could kneel without messing up our stockings or our dresses, I sat on the settee in the corner of the lounge. My mother had spent $300 on my dress, and not even praying was going to get me anywhere close to the floor. Each of the mothers prayed over us, and then they lined us up and led us into the darkened sanctuary that was brightened only by hundreds of flickering candles. As we passed through the doors, 2 of the deacons stood at the entryway and gave each of us a white rose. But when I'd only taken 2 steps, my white rose was quickly replaced by a pink one, courtesy of my oldest brother, who'd flown in from North Carolina for the occasion. We marched slowly down the aisle, and even with the dim candlelight, I could see that every seat in the church was taken. The 9 of us moved to the altar, and when I got to the front, Pastor Malik, who was dressed in a long burgundy robe, looked down at me and smiled. I smiled back, noticing that he hadn't seemed to take interest in any of the other girls. When we all stood in our place, our father